Every once in a while, we like to have youth open our meeting for us. And we have had the pleasure of experiencing the amazing talents and brilliance of the young people standing behind me right now as interns in our office this summer. So we thought it appropriate to invite them to a Freeholder meeting and allow them to open up the Freeholder meeting. So I'm going to ask for you to hold the gavel. You two reach your hands around, okay? You're going to bang this 3 times, and then you're going to repeat after me, okay?
Everybody, right?
This meeting
of the Essex County
Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, can you please call roll?
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Present.
Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Present.
Freeholder Luciano.
Here.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Here.
Freeholder Toro.
Present.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Here. Please stand to salute our flag. I'm going to ask Freeholder Jones to lead us in the salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have before me a certification from the clerk that this meeting is indeed in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay, are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay, now we're going to move to public comment session. But before we move to public comment session, I do want to make an announcement that regarding the ordinance, which is listed on our agenda, which is expected to pass tonight, which is ordinance number 1, there's going to be a special hearing that's going to open up. And so you'll have an opportunity to come up and speak in regard to ordinance number 1, the ordinance adopting the finding of the Affirmative Action Committee and establishing a minority business enterprise, women business enterprise, and veteran-owned business set-aside and joint venture program for the County of Essex. So you don't necessarily need to come during the public comment session. I'm going to give an opportunity when we open it up for public hearing and discussion, okay? All right, so if there's any member of the public that'd like to comment on agenda items only, please come forward. State your name and affiliation. And you'll have 3 minutes to speak. All right. Are there any members of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all? Please come forward, state your name and, okay. Mr. Cowboy, please state your name and affiliation, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my right.
Yes. I'm all right, Cowboy, District Leader of the 48th District of South Ward, Newark. Good evening, Madam President and freeholders. I haven't had a chance to be up here in a few weeks, but I'm glad to be up here now, and I had a lot on my mind to speak about, and I was wanting to let people know that I had won the election of 48th District last year at the June 2016. And from that time, to help the people and being a district leader, I felt that I could help the area and the community where I was living. But it seemed like I'm falling backwards instead of going forward. And it seems like that maybe the 100 things that I have spoke on and try to get help with, I can count on maybe one hand the what service that I had gotten. And even though the efforts have been made through the county of doing things, it seemed like it's just been a rough ride for me. And I feel that I have been doing more as a public figure than being a district leader, because it seemed like when I became district leader, everybody kind of holding me back from doing things for the public, and which I'm very hurtful for, because I can see that it seems like the system is set up for the people to fail. And I would like to say that I'm hurt because of the things that have happened to me from the beginning, and it's still the same as it is today. Now, the 7th I was voted in, the 8th I was put out of my home to get me out of the district, and it seemed like everybody from the mayor down to the councilman down to everybody that was going to help me said they'll get me into place, and I wanted to be in the district that I was living in. I haven't been to this day. It's been a year, and I'm still out of that district and haven't have a place. And I feel I don't like to fall back on things that I feel that I'm crying or complaining. So I'm just going to let it go at that right now, and hopefully that things go and change and make a difference. So I have to renounce myself and leave to another area to where I feel I can be more helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cowboy. And as you know, we'll respond in writing to you, but you also will have the full advantage of any departments or things that we have or resources that we have to help with the issue of homelessness, okay, here at the county. So just make sure to stay after the meeting, okay?
Hello, my name is Rob Daniel. I'm a resident of West Orange Township, and everybody's hearing me? You're
Yes,
good?
Mr. Daniel.
So today you'll be voting on 5 resolution items involving the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund, and myself, along with a group of pedestrian safety activists from the town of West Orange, we're going to be sending the county executive a request to utilize our Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund to improve open space access. So this would include, for example, within our Eagle Rock Reservation along the eastern side of Prospect Avenue from Eagle Rock Avenue north towards Verona, or along the western side of Prospect Avenue from Mount Pleasant Avenue along the eastern margin of Essex County Country Club, and within our South Mountain Reservation along Northfield Avenue to link Livingston to Pleasant Valley Way and Cherry Lane in the Turtleback Zoo. So all of this is on open space that's owned by Essex County. So we would like the trust fund monies that we will be discussing later on this evening to be used to improve access to the county parks for pedestrians, strollers, joggers, runners along our county roads. In addition, we will be asking the county executive to direct the county engineer to prepare a program of new sidewalks along our county roads to fill in missing critical gaps. And we, as the county, on a second subject, we should have a bank of pedestrian safety projects ready to apply for grants and other projects that are shovel-ready to take advantage of state and federal grant programs when they become available. So we'll also be sending a copy of our proposal to you freeholders when we send it to the county executive. So thank you. I have time to spare.
Thank you. And recognizing freeholder Rufus Johnson as well as freeholder Wayne Richardson present with us. Sir, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my right.
Yes, my name is Ralph Wright. I'm a resident of Essex County, and I'm a veteran. And for time period that I spent in service, I did my time, and I got out of service, and I was issued a peddler's license in the city to vend. And I received a letter from it was dated June 1st, but I didn't get it till the 10th of June, and it was from a Robert Jackson. Now, this individual probably wasn't even born when I was in the service, but he didn't know me probably from a can of paint, for that matter. Now, my whole issue here is that it states, and I read, to whom it may concern. It has come to my attention that you have been distributing literature and selling items on Essex County property, as specified in the County of Essex, Chapter 74, Parks and Recreation, Articles, Rules, Regulations, Section 74-10. Solicitation. Sections solicitation and literature distribution, solicitation for service donations, distribution of display of handbills, cards, and advertisement of any nature prohibited unless person is or activity is authorized by the County of Essex, and the activities done in the areas designed by the County of Essex for such use. Section B, vending and peddling. No persons on the county property shall expose or offer for sale any articles of things, nor sell any persons or any person's station or place any stand, cart, or vehicle on the transportation, sale, display of any such articles and such items except under the authority regulation. Now, to make this short here, I was given peddler's license when I got out the service, and for that time period from '68 when I got out the service, I had been a vendor, and to supplement my income, I was doing that, and now I'm up here. I was vending at Turtleback Zoo for the last 5 years, given permission to come up there at Turtleback Zoo, and I've been up there, and this letter was given to me by the county sheriffs, and I was working on Saturdays and Sundays, and when I was up there, they came up there with sirens blasting, and they embarrassed me with a bunch of, with this letter that they gave me, and I wanted to know why I was presented this letter, and this issue
Time is up.
on the 10th.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
One, let me just tell you thank you for your service to our country. And also, I mean, you came to the perfect meeting tonight because you mentioned that you're a veteran and that you have a peddler's license. I don't know the details of the letter. We can get back to you in regard to the details of the letter in writing. But what I can tell you tonight is that we are expected to be passing an ordinance where we would like more vendors who are veterans to register with the County of Essex and see if there's any opportunities with the county. So I invite you to stay for that, which is the next item up.
Thank you. I
Thank
like
you.
that very much. Thank you for your time.
Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Madam Clerk, let the record reflect. Public comment session is now closed. Do we have any ordinances on introduction and first reading?
Madam President, we have none.
Okay. Do we have any ordinance on resolutions for listing purposes only?
Madam President, we have none.
Okay. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances, resolutions on second reading and public hearing tonight?
Madam President, we have two. The first one, ordinance number O-2017-0005, ordinance adopting the finding of the Affirmative Action Committee and establishing a minority business enterprise, woman business enterprise, and veterans-owned business set-aside and joint venture program for the County of Essex.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinarily, we usually have a representative to talk about what it is before the public comment session or before the resolution is discussed. So I will be doing that and taking that role tonight to talk about it. So after a review of the county's 2014, 15, and 16 reports from the Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action revealed that the county's total average spend on contracts were 33% for small business enterprises, SBE, because I'm going to be speaking in acronyms from after this on out, but only 6% for MBE enterprises, 9% for women business enterprises, and 0.16% for veteran-owned business enterprises. The board's goal with this ordinance is to increase the average spend to 33% for small business enterprises, 27% for minority business enterprises, 25% for women business enterprises, and 15% for veteran-owned business enterprises by year 2020. So on average, women in the United States make 20 cents less on the dollar than do men. Contracting more women-owned businesses can help close that wage gap. There are plenty of qualified, ready, and able minority companies who can do the work, but face passive discriminatory policies limiting access to capital. So this legislation can improve such conditions and offer economic opportunity. And then, of course, furthermore, our veterans had our back, and now this law mandates that we have theirs by making an effort to support their businesses. The ordinance creates a set-aside in the areas of goods and services, non-professional services, and professional services, while establishing a joint venture program for large construction contracts. Now, this joint venture method has been successful in other places in the United States, such as the city of Atlanta. The result has been removing historical blockades, preventing MBEs, WBEs, and VOBEs from being competitive in the bid process. So, for example, it's challenging for many companies to obtain something called bonding, as it involves having a large amount of cash on hand not committed to use. But this freeholder ordinance states that the bond must be assigned to the joint entity formed, and thus open up more access and opportunities for major construction participation for MBEs, WBEs, and VOBEs by partnering with large firms too. So this law has been endorsed by so many, and I'm so grateful to see many of your faces here tonight. We have support of the state NAACP, the Newark, Montclair, and South Orange, Maplewood NAACP chapters, National Organization for Women, Essex, New Jersey African American Chamber of Commerce, Essex County Latino Chamber of Commerce, Lupe Fund, People's Organization for Progress, Blue Wave New Jersey, South Orange Maplewood Community Coalition on Race, Diaspora Pan-African Committee, Guyana American Heritage Foundation, SANGI CDC, New Jersey Citizen Action, and clergy throughout the county, including Pastor Ronald L. Slaughter, and community leaders such as the former ambassador to the United Nations, Robert Van Lierop, Rebecca Doggett, veterans organizations, and many more. So it also has the support of many electeds who have truly represented us well on the state and federal level, and many of which are here tonight. Congressman Donald Payne Jr., State Senator Ronald L. Rice, Assembly Speaker Demetrius, who will always be our speaker, who hails from right here, Essex, Sheila Oliver, Assemblyman Thomas P. Giblin, wave your hand, and thank you for your mentorship over the years. Assemblywoman Cleopatra Tucker, former Assemblyman and Freeholder and current Essex County Democratic Chairman Leroy J. Jones Jr., who is also present here with us tonight. Former Assemblyman William Payne, who was incredibly instrumental. East Orange Council President and Mayor-elect Ted Green, South Orange Village Trustee Deborah Davis Ford, and former Essex County Freeholder Carol Clark. So I just want to say thank you so much to all of the elected leaders. This Freeholder Board, I'm just so proud of you all. I'm so proud to work with you all. It has just been an amazing honor, because I believe that this is why we all do this, is to just create solutions to issues that exist. So I want to also thank Freeholder Counsel Michael Polavecchio and Freeholder Counsel Evans Ayanu, Freeholder Jones and Johnson for sponsoring this too, Freeholder staff, County Executive and his administration, Robert Jackson, Chief of Staff, councils, Jay Coltree. Everything is just a team effort, okay? And I just really want to drive that point home. And I'm going to turn this over to Evans, who is our attorney, and I have to say that, you know, young, brilliant, tenacious, these are different words that I can use to describe him, and he has been walking right there in stride and helping to see this come to where it's at, to be called to a vote tonight, and really helped guide the ordinance and its legality. So Evans, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam President. I want to thank
Evans, pull the mic.
I want to thank the County Council, as well as Freeholder Council Mike Polavecchio for guidance and assistance in the legalities of putting this together. And it's very important that I mention that, in the sense that
The ordinance to be voted on tonight and adopted is a culmination of years of efforts by the county and its freeholders to have its vendors reflect the diversity of its citizenship. Historically, set-aside programs that are targeted to assist disadvantaged groups often face a lot of legal challenges in adoption and enforcement. In 1989, as an attempt to clarify these standards by which legislation that assists minority or disadvantaged groups can be enforced, the Supreme Court in the City of Richmond versus Croson adopted a two-pronged approach. One, that the government entity has to show a compelling interest as to why it wants to have this program, and two, it has to have a program that's narrowly tailored to make it come to fruition. And here the county did that in 2005. The county did a disparity study, and I believe the county is the only county in the state of New Jersey to do so. Those studies are very intensive and very expensive. And the next thing is, with showing that disparity, how do you tailor a program to bring it to fruition? And through the Office of Small Business, the county was able to show every year through reports how well the county was doing with respect to small businesses, veteran-owned businesses, minority business, and women-owned business. And through that, we were able to build a foundation to give this ordinance the legal footing to pass constitutional muster. And the most important part is this enforcement. And here, in the ordinance, it states that the county purchasing agent or the Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action will adopt rules and regulations and policies to bring it to fruition, including also an enforcement officer. So this is not something whereby a vendor can have a sham joint venture or sham MBE or veteran-owned business or SBE program. We're going to make sure that we look at the composition of the board. We make sure that it's truly something that's legit. And I think with the help of everyone involved, and it's truly been a group effort, that this ordinance is in solid legal footing. And I look forward to witnessing its adoption tonight.
Thank you, Evans. I'd like to call upon Robert Jackson. Do you have any remarks?
Yes, I do. I'm going to first, our Deputy County Administrator would like to have some words with you.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the Board of Chosen Freeholders. For the record, I'm Deborah Collins, Acting Deputy County Administrator, Director of Small Business Development, and the Affirmative Action Officer for the County of Essex. This historic and groundbreaking ordinance is vital to the economic health of our communities and the state of New Jersey. We in the Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action commend the Board of Chosen Freeholders and the County Executive for taking this courageous step. It takes courage to not only recognize a problem, but to propose and implement the solution. That is exactly what our county executive did 14 years ago when he commissioned the first and only disparity study to be conducted by any county in the state of New Jersey. Unfortunately, at that time, there was no legal basis to create a set-aside program. So the county executive did the next best thing based on the study's recommendations. He created the Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action and charged us with the responsibility of implementing the recommendations that flowed from the study. Thus, over these 12 years, we have conducted outreach, offered over 100 training programs, a bonding program, seminars, and workshops. And as a result of these events, 79 minority business enterprises, small business enterprises, and women-owned business enterprises have received over $25 million in contracts directly as a result of their having attended our seminars, learning how to do business with the County of Essex. And I'd like to thank our Public Works Department at this time, some of them are here this evening, for organizing and presenting every year a seminar on the request for proposals process. There have been many. We continue, in fact, to offer bonding support to the vendors in the construction industry. Some of them are, in fact, in this room this evening. By the way, of those 79 vendors who received over $25 million in contracts in a period of 12 years, 52 of these business owners are minority business enterprises. We've met with hundreds of business owners to help them gain access to capital, create solid business plans, and identify other critical growth resources. Our goal has been and will continue to be, quote, to position small, woman-owned, veteran-owned, LGBTQ, and minority business owners to compete successfully for contracts. We recognize that there's still much work to be done. It will take the collective work and responsibility of all the county's 33 departments, divisions, and constitutionals, our business partners, community groups, many of whom I've met with, and they're in this room this evening, and the Board of Chosen Freeholders for this proposed ordinance to succeed. We are all stakeholders in this initiative. To participate in this set-aside and joint venture program, a minority-owned business, woman-owned business, and veteran-owned business enterprise must certify that their principal place of business is in the state of New Jersey and that they own 51% of the stock in their companies. That is by New Jersey state law. Hence, we want the public to know that the county will accept all state and federal certifications. In fact, as an incentive, the county is offering to reimburse the $100 certification fee that the state of New Jersey charges for all first-time registrants. This is key. We recently held a certification workshop, and 51 attendees expressed an interest in becoming certified. We are working like demons during this period to ensure that we reach these aspirational goals. We thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. If I may as well, thank you, Ms. Collins, again for your comments. I also wanted to echo what the Deputy County Administrator said. It's been a pleasure working with you, Madam President, and the board and the staff in fashioning this ordinance. We look forward to working with you continually to improve it and to make it happen. The next step, of course, is the implementation, which we have to work on as hard, if not harder, to make it work over the coming months and years. And we look forward to doing that in a very collaborative spirit, and I'm sure we're going to get it done. So thank you and congratulations to the board and the staff, and of course to the County Executive Administration. I think it's a fine day for the County of Essex.
Thank you. Freeholders, would you like an opportunity to speak before I open up public comment session? Any freeholders?
I would.
Freeholder Richardson?
I just want to take my hat off to you, and I've said this in the past, and commend you and everyone else, my colleagues who are part of this. This is a brilliant piece of legislation and an opportunity. We talk all the time about leveling the playing field and giving folks an opportunity who otherwise may be left out of the economic opportunities that happen in this county. You know, I always ask contractors who come up here, you know, where are you located? Do you hire people from Essex County? What's your workforce like? Those types of things. And here's an opportunity to put these things to practice and hold people accountable. So I commend you for this, putting forth this legislation. I commend the administration for signing on, signing up, and being a partner to this as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Richardson. Freeholder Johnson.
Madam President, I only have 2 words to say, and that is long overdue.
Freeholders? Thank you, Freeholder Johnson. Freeholder Seabold.
Thank you. As Deborah Collins stated, we were the very first county to have an affirmative action committee, and I am pleased that we are going to have this this ordinance, and I believe we're probably among the first in the state to do so. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, congratulations to you, congratulations to all the freeholders, and congratulations to the administration, and I'm pleased that we are going to be leading the way in the entire state in this area. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Seabold. Freeholder Jones.
I just want to thank you for your leadership, your youth, and you think out the box, as many have stated. And that was one of my concerns, that we need to bring more minorities into Essex County. many of the contracts that was given out, they were not in an even position to get the bonding that needed to do those type of big jobs. But with this affirmative action and set aside, it gives more people an opportunity to pay in the field. And I just want to thank the committee, because I work as the chairman, and I open up this committee for all freeholders to be a part of it, because we represent at least 70% of the minorities of people that vote and put us in office. And it's not about us and our career, it's about the people we serve. And I think this is a great opportunity for a young lady as our leader to make sure, and this young man, too, I knew him as a boy, has come forward, and it made it happen, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. Thank you so much, Madam President.
Thank you, Freeholder Jones. And I have to also thank you for your leadership and for your just, you have a fire burning in you that just won't go out. And that fire is burning to help people. You got to help people. And Freeholder Jones, you know, just a little behind the scenes, Freeholder Jones came to me 2 years ago. You know, this law is about 3 years in the making. It's not easy whenever you're doing this stuff. It takes a lot of steps and things. And Freeholder Jones said, you know, we really have to do something because the numbers aren't where they need to be. And I said, I agree. And she has just really constantly been a constant support and a constant champion for this. So I thank you for your leadership. And the city of Irvington, as well as the entire county of Essex, is blessed to have you and what you bring to the table. Freeholders. Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'm just going to follow in Freeholder Johnson's footsteps. 2 words to sum it up: outstanding job. So I wanted to thank you. And if you look at our crowd here and the folks that are home watching this on TV, you can't see that our chambers is packed. The Freeholder Board, all 9 of us, we represent the people and the public of Essex County. And I'm just proud to see this great crowd here to support this tonight. And I hope I continue to see this crowd in meetings going forward.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders. Freeholder Vice President Brendan Gill.
Thank you, Madam President. Excuse me. First of all, echo the thoughts of my colleagues. Congratulations on a job well done, on a great piece of legislation. And again, for allowing Essex County to continue to be a pioneer on so many different issues, but particularly on an issue that as important as this one. I actually almost, the term set aside is almost one that I actually don't even like, because it sometimes implies that we're doing something for organizations or a group of people who don't deserve it, and nothing could be further from the truth. So one of these days I'll put on my political consultant hat and we'll figure that piece out. It's an honor to be able to vote for this. It's an honor to be able to support it. I would also like to say that all the advocates who were in the audience tonight and who helped be a part of this process, thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your time. Some of you are familiar faces here throughout the year. And others, I would encourage you to come back, because this is only the first step. This is actually, as much work has gone into this particular piece of legislation, in my opinion, and this is with all due respect, Madam President, this part is the easier part. The much harder part is going to be making sure that that money that this county spends each and every year, and I'm hoping that when we have our budget hearings, that this room is just as packed. So there is the accountability for those dollars going back out into the community. Freeholder Jones, Freeholder Richardson, Freeholder Johnson, I also hope that we get to a point that we all as freeholders can feel comfortable and not feel the need to ask on each and every contract, where are these dollars being spent in terms of our residents and the people that we represent and the people that we want to put to work. Because I think we all share that common goal, and that's where we want to be and that's where we want to get to. So it's an honor to be here with you tonight and to support this, and hopefully this will be a first step in having Essex County continue to be the leader that it has been. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Vice President, for your support. Freeholder Toro?
Madam President, I have heard you numerous times say, that a true and real good leader not only identifies a problem, but also identifies and creates a solution. And I believe that our county executive in 2005 identified it and began the ball rolling. But today's ordinance, grows upon that for real, true, positive change to happen. And I congratulate you, I congratulate the committee, this board, and the administration. Congratulations.
Thank you, Freeholder Toro. Okay, I think that's all the freeholders, right? All right, so Freeholder Vice President Gill, I love what you said about the community, and I just want to say, seats in political offices change. So no matter who's sitting in this chair here, or the chairs there, or the county executive's chair, ultimately we need your accountability to make sure that this law succeeds over the years. So with that said, I hereby declare the public hearing on Ordinance O 2017 00005 open. If there's any member of the public who'd like to comment for or against this ordinance, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my right. And by the way, please keep in mind that you can detach the microphone. That's always very helpful for me, personally.
I'm good. My name is Phyllis Salo Kay. I'm the Director of New Jersey Citizen Action, and I'm a resident of West Orange. And in 2015, this Freeholder Board, with the leadership of Freeholder President, passed a historic and first in the state resolution law now that's called a responsible banking ordinance that requires that the banks in Essex County come in, meet with the freeholders, provide them with information about their lending in terms of mortgages to below market, low and moderate income people, construction and permanent financing, and small business lending to women and minorities. And the county then makes the decision, you do, as to where you place your money using that information as one of the facts. So that was the first step that you took. I see that the passage of tonight's ordinance as the second historic part to that, because now you put the lenders in Essex County on notice that they're not getting our tax dollars unless they reinvest that money back into the community. And one of those ways is to invest in small businesses of women and minorities and veterans. And tonight, you've provided the tool and that will allow that to actually happen. So we commend you for this. Obviously, the implementation is really important, and the education that's provided to small business owners, whether it's how to run their business or how to get access to capital, becomes an essential part of the two ordinances to work hand in hand. So we thank you. It was a pleasure to work with you on the first ordinance, and now this is its partner. So thank you.
Thank you so much for the partnership that you bring to the table with New Jersey Citizen Action in your work, Ms. Phyllis Salo-Kay. Mr. Harris?
Good evening to the President, members of the Board of Freeholders, to the administration. I just want to say how thankful I am, having been here several times to talk about this issue of the leadership and this ordinance. I want to especially recognize Rufus Johnson, who was the chair of the affirmative action, and then Ms. Libby Jones, who has been courageous and unrelenting in making sure that the questions get asked, and Mr. Richardson also for asking the questions. But what this really represents to me, that leadership makes a difference, which means that elections make a difference. And Madam Freeholder President, you have led this fight. You have involved people who need to be involved, and now the challenge is to get an implementation. Let me say, having been the president of the New Jersey State Conference for 8 years, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the NAACP tonight, I'm speaking on behalf of the New Jersey Association of Black Educators, where we believe that education is great, but employment is the next step after getting an education. But what we need to be concerned about in implementation is that we still have unions that will be doing the work who are not diverse in the county. So that's the next step. But this ordinance, which really is interesting because there is state legislation, New Jersey State Law 40A 1142, allows for this type of thing to move forward, and it does. So I just look forward to seeing real proof of the pudding. I know that Ms. Collins has worked throughout the community to get people informed on how to do contracts, but that bonding issue has been a major stumbling block. So I'm really happy to see that the combination of joint ventures means that the responsibilities for the bonding is with the agency that is party to the bonding, and I think that will move things along very well. Again, I want to thank you for your leadership, and you should know that the New Jersey Association of Black Educators appreciate all that you have done and will continue to support this type of progressive, positive leadership in Essex County. I mean, if any county in the state should be doing this, is Essex County, where we have 320,000 of the 1.2 million black folks in the state. So this is the right thing to do. It's the right time, and look forward to working with all of you to move it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harris, for your leadership in the community and your support. Ms. Hill?
Hi, good evening. Ingrid Hill. I'm the corresponding secretary and vice chair of internal affairs for the People's Organization for Progress. And once again, I'm here to support the ordinance, and on behalf of the People's Organization for Progress, I would like to read this letter. Dear Freeholder, President Timberlake, we, the People's Organization for Progress, a grassroots organization fighting for racial, social, and economic justice and peace, are writing this letter to once again acknowledge our support of the ordinance 2017-0005, ordinance adopting the finding of the Affirmative Action Committee in establishing a minority business enterprise, women business enterprise, and veteran-owned business enterprise set-aside and joint venture program for the County of Essex. We express our sincere appreciation to you, Ms. Timberlake, Freeholder President, as well as to other Board of chosen Freehold County of Essex members who support this ordinance, and for your commitment to establishing opportunities for individuals who historically have been on the periphery of progress and who will be afforded the opportunity to be active participants by providing an equal level playing field. As you did at the last session at which this ordinance was brought forth, we ask that all of you once again vote to support in favor of it. As this process is being implemented, it is important that the term minority identify specific racial and ethnic groups that fall within this domain, given that historically African Americans have always been the last to benefit from programs that were designed to be inclusive. In addition, we recommend that the program be transparent at all levels and that processes be put in place to provide ongoing assessment and evaluations, which we recommend to be made public to ensure that those whom this program is to benefit will in fact be the true recipients. Again, we extend our thanks to the Board of Chosen Freeholders, County of Essex, and we look forward to seeing it succeed. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact our Chairman Lawrence Ham at 973-801-0001. Thank you again.
All of you, repeat that number so everyone can text him right now. Thank you, Ms. Hill, for your leadership in People's Organization for Progress, and Mr. Ham, thank you for being here.
Good evening. John Harmon. I'm President and CEO of the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey. And Madam Chairwoman, I want to commend you and your colleague, Freeholder, representatives, and all the elected officials here this evening, and those in attendance. This is a precedent-setting piece of legislation that we wholeheartedly support. We see this as a game changer for many folks that have endured for a number of years, particularly the 1.2 African American residents of the state and the over 66,000 African American businesses. Today we still have the highest unemployment and the highest poverty rate here in the state, notwithstanding leadership in some cases that look like us. So I'm encouraged to see what is taking place here tonight. leveraging the diversity of this body to bring forth legislation that I believe will be a real game changer. Also in the spirit of the late Harold Washington, the late Maynard Jackson, and the late Marion Barry, three individuals who transformed lives for many based on will, and then the policy followed, and that's what I see demonstrated here tonight. So in closing, I just believe that this ordinance, once it becomes adopted tonight, will afford access to increased opportunities that could have a positive economic impact for minority and women-owned business enterprises in this county. Economic prosperity, in my view, is a pathway to a better life. And if we can bring this forward and put the necessary controls in place with accountability and transparency, we could see a great day here, and not only in Essex County, but the hope that other counties throughout this state would adopt a similar practice. I commit to you all tonight that I will take this legislation and back to my county of Mercer and challenge the Freeholder board there, who I think is grossly asleep. But it is this type of legislation that I hope will awaken them, and they would fall in lockstep what has occurred here in Essex County. So again, thank you for this opportunity, and we pledge our full support, not only tonight, but going forward. And again, thank you.
Mr. Harmon, thank you so much for your leadership and that support. And Ms. Short.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? I hope, yes. I'm here once again in support of the ordinance adopting the finding of the Affirmative Action Committee and establishing a minority business enterprise, women business enterprise, and veteran-owned business set-aside and joint venture program. Hallelujah. My name is Moretta Short, but I'm tall. And I am the founder and the president of Women of Color and Allies Essex County National Organization for Women chapter. And our chairperson, or our president, Freeholder, Brittany Timberlake, I want to thank you so much for including my organization in the reading of the original draft for this particular legislation. No government official really ever invites us anywhere. I just want to let you know that. And we do appreciate it. It was shared with the national president of NOW, Terry O'Neill. We now have a new one. The now New Jersey president, Debbie Huber, and some of our allies. And we were all in agreement that our chapter should definitely endorse this. And I just want to say, in reading the original draft, just taking a look at the statistics founded by the University of Minnesota, the university that conducted the studies, it was shocking, very shocking. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you, when I read it, I had just finished reading another report that said 94% of African American women who voted in the last general election voted Democratic. And we have a Democratic body here. So I was saying, now this is really shot out here. Doesn't make any sense for our government body to discriminate based on race and gender. So that's another reason why I'm here. And I know that you're going to vote on it tonight. And another point I think that needs to be pointed out is that a way that women have shown that they are getting sick and tired of being sick and tired is the fact that we held a march the day after inauguration. And I want to tell you, all women are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Please keep that in mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Short, for your leadership. I'm going to just pause for a moment. I'd like to give an opportunity for the great Assemblyman Thomas P. Giblin to make remarks, also followed by our amazing chairman and, again, a mentor. If you'd like to make remarks, the time would be absolutely appropriate. Assemblyman Giblin?
Madam President and distinguished members of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, it's good to be back here. I spent 10 great years as a member of this board, and it was one of the highlights of my governmental career, and I'm glad to see democracies at work and important things are being done for the benefit of the citizens of Essex County as we move our county forward. I know President Timberlake, you've been working on this legislation together with some of your colleagues for a considerable period of time. I received notification about tonight's hearing. I felt it was important to come down and, first of all, show my support for this legislation, and also look to see if there's any way, taking your legislation to the halls of our State House, if we can do anything to ensure and expand this program all across the state of New Jersey to include the 21 counties. It's kind of an interesting thing. Tomorrow, some of us will be going to Trenton. They're presenting a proposal tomorrow to have the Veterans Hospital in East Orange declared a historic site because of not only the building, but because of what it represents in terms of servicing the needs of the many women and men who served their country over the years, and have that as a monument to their courage and strength. Small business is perhaps the largest growing sector of our economy. Everybody used to think about big businesses where all the jobs are, but it's truly, the small business sector. And as a note, I'd like to salute Director Collins for her work over the years. Many times it's been unsung, but I know she's been out there working inch by inch, day by day, brick by brick, to really make sure that this was not just a talk, it was action as far as Essex County government. So, presenting these opportunities to veterans, presenting these opportunities to women. As a father of 2 daughters, I can understand about looking out for their future. We all know the different numbers. Used to be 59 cents, maybe went up a few pennies more, but women are not getting the compensation they deserve for equal pay. And by passage of this ordinance, I think it will go a lot of sending the right type of message to citizens, not only in Essex County, but across the state, that Essex County is a place to be. We just don't talk about, affirmative action. We put the action into words. So this is great legislation. To all the people who are partners in this effort, certainly I'll be looking, as I said, to try to expand this or do things on the state level that will create these similar opportunities for all residents from one end of the state, Atlantic City, to Bergenfield. And as I said, thank you. And this is kind of particularly important as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Newark Rebellion. I had a conversation with Bill Payne and Larry Ham downstairs prior to tonight's meeting, talking about that unfortunate era in 1967, and reading a lot of the newspaper clips we shared about some of the areas they left out, or even some of the inaccuracies they had about locations and personalities and things like that. But we want to set the record straight as far as no more days of rebellion. We want days of celebration for Essex County with the passage of this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Words will never be able to describe how I feel about you, and I just thank you for being who you are. Nobody will understand how it is to hear your mentor, who has been in your life since undergraduate college days at Seton Hall, and who always believed and saw something in me, to say that he's going to take this monumental piece of legislation to the State House. It's just absolutely overwhelming, and I appreciate your leadership over the years. Chairman Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. You got a system here since I've been here?
You don't have to push it. You can just talk. Now you can just talk over each other. You don't have to push it.
Red is good, huh? Thank you, Madam President. Members of the board, members of the administration, and those individuals that are waiting to speak. I'm not going to be long. I think it's just appropriate to echo just some of the thoughts that the speakers prior to me, particularly Tom Giblin, who laid out a history, particularly citing the 50th anniversary of the New York Revolution, and how important this groundbreaking and monumental legislation is. And certainly, Madam President, under your leadership and those members of the board who are forward-thinking and embrace and embody and embellish inclusion and responsibility. And Phyllis mentioned the prior legislation and this legislation and how they come together to bridge a foundation that creates an environment that doesn't offer a hand out to individuals, but a big hand up. And that's the responsibility of individuals that we have the awesome responsibility to elect, and you have equally an awesome responsibility to serve. And today is evidence of your keen service and your responsible leadership. And I can only congratulate you all, and also the administration who have had that foresight since 2005. And Deborah, you guys have brought that to a level, and today in 2017, we have completed that task, and now it's time to move forward, with being responsible to all those individuals who fall under this umbrella. And and James has been part of this fight for a long time. Today is a good day. Today is a historic day. Today is a responsible day. And Madam President, today is a day that you put your footprint squarely in the realm of leadership. That's why we elected you, and that's why we stay consistent under your leadership and under your steady hand. Job well done, not just to you, but to the members of this board who will obviously offer a unanimous vote, and the members of the administration who have the awesome responsibility to execute going forward this historic legislation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments and your support, Chairman Jones, who is another friend and mentor of mine, joined here by his beautiful wife, Jackie. My dad, who's here tonight as well, Phil Timberlake, he's here often. If you ever want to see him, he's always at the Freeholder meetings. And you put the Dad, along with God, you put the spirit of fearlessness in me. But Chairman Jones, in this industry, you absolutely encourage it. And I thank you so much for that, because a lot of people cannot say that they have that type of relationship with their chairman, and progressive pieces of legislation are supported here and encouraged by that man right there. So I want this whole room to know that, and know that because of his leadership, that he encourages fearless pieces of what I'd like to think is art, because I'm a little biased, I'm a legislator, right? But artful legislation. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, and members of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, the administration. My name is Cheryl McCants. I am the president and founder of Impact Consulting Enterprises, and we are an Essex County registered and certified minority, small, disadvantaged woman business enterprise. So I want to say thank you, and I also want to say congratulations for passing this type of legislation. My team and I are very much looking forward to being able to continue to do work with the county. We have been fortunate enough to receive an award through the Office of Small Business and Affirmative Action. We created the How to Do Business with Essex County video that you currently have available for you to use. We are just excited about being able to create joint ventures so that we can scale up, so that we can continue to grow our business, and so that we can increase the footprint that we have here. So once again, Cheryl McCants, Impact Consulting Enterprises, and thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. I want to recognize Mr. William Payne. I didn't see you sitting there until you stood up. This is a man who's been a champion for this type of thing for many, many, many years, and he truly was a partner through this entire process. Mr. Payne, I don't know if you'd like to say a few words. He's a very busy man. He's, probably running off to take care of something, congressional business. And he also handles county business. But Mr. Payne, if you're more than welcome. Say something if you'd like. Get past the mic to him. Pass the mic. There you go. Thank you. Watch the Cowboys hat. I knew our interns would think that was funny.
Madam Freeholder and all of the Freeholders, I'm just happy to have an opportunity to be here tonight and see this historic thing happen here. We've been talking about it for a long time, and as a matter of fact, I came into this administration with this county executive, and in the beginning, some of the things we talked about are becoming to fruition. Nothing comes easily, and there's always more that can be done. And I really have to commend the members of this board for the work that you have done. You've taken it on, and I know that there were those who didn't think that we needed to do so much, we're doing enough, et cetera, and I'm so glad that all of you joined in and decided that this was something that we needed to do. As a matter of fact, you pointed out that there are other cities in this country that have done this in the past, and during meetings that we have had, I think we educated some people as to where this program is working successfully, and if in fact we can do it elsewhere, we can do it here. And I'm just proud that all of you have joined on this effort to make history here in Essex County. We have a slogan that started when the county executive came in and said, putting Essex County first. And it's not just a matter of words, it's a matter of doing it to make sure that we will, in fact, make Essex County first in the county and in the state of New Jersey. And I'm glad to have had a minor role in this. I'm glad to see that everybody's here. And there's a lot more that's going to be coming down the pike with the leadership that we have here. I think we've demonstrated that we can, in fact. If you think that you can't, then you won't. But if you truly believe that you can, then you will. And I think this leadership that's been shown here knew that you believed that you could, and you did it. And I congratulate you all on that.
Thank you, Mr. Payne.
Good afternoon, Ms. President and Board of Chosen Freeholders. My name is Che Coulter. I'm a parent in the city of Newark and voter. And I just want to commend you, Ms. Timberlake, on being courageous about this, getting this done in your first administration as president. I looked at the details of the 05 report, and it does recommend that before any affirmative action remedies are done in the County of Essex, that they actually have that enforcement officer along with that assistance board. I'm just bringing the message from my constituents in the 16th District of New Jersey, which is near Clinton Avenue, that area. We used to have more capacity to bid on these types of jobs, but hopefully as we build capacity within the next 10 years before some of the larger development comes through Department of General Services from the federal level, we'll have capacity to actually bid on these projects, how the success was done in Atlanta. And in light of Atlanta, I think we need to go and invite Ambassador Young, to come here to Essex County to talk to us, because Ambassador Young had his success while being a Democratic mayor. A Republican sitting president was president. Reagan was president when he had all that procurement money coming in to build the Highway 85 in Atlanta, which actually started in the mayor administration in 1975, where they were asking for 20%. So although some on the board have fought vigorously for the 15% we were able to get, we do want to make sure that even beyond 2020, we have some of the 30% goals, and even some of the goals with respect to the veteran firms, for them to have opportunities closer to 20%, or at least more than what we've had based on the metric that led you to do this. I would also like to say our county council, who helped with craft this ordinance, I've been talking to some different folks in the legal community. You don't have to respond, but that 1989 case that came out of the Supreme Court, that kind of changed the environment of affirmative action being enforced. So this will be something that will have to stay and continue into the courts, and us as the constituents will have to hold folks accountable so that we can keep this going and not care who's president, because we have billions of dollars coming to Essex County. There's an economic bonanza about to take place from the airport all the way over to New York, and people are saying they don't want to, and talk to Trump. Well, it's not about if he's from Essex or if he likes an Italian hot dog or not. We want him to send the procurement money here the way that Andrew Young was able to get that done in Atlanta. And I see the clerk's reference to me, but if we're going to be like Atlanta, let's invite them here to talk to about it, particularly Ambassador Andrew Young, so we can make our move. Grow Essex.
Thank you. Thank you for your community leadership and support.
Thank you, Ms. Timberlake.
Hey, Ms. Pena, you take the mic off.
No,
and
that's
step
okay.
up from around.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sarah Pena, and I am the president of the Lupe Fund, the only statewide Latina nonprofit organization that was founded by Latinas. For close to 2 decades, our mission has been to educate, empower, and engage Latinas to promote leadership and civic engagement. I stand before you today and represent the hundreds, close to thousands of members we have who are extremely excited to hear that our organization is in full support and endorses this ordinance that will not only empower minorities, but especially empower women and increase economic growth. We commend the Essex County Executive and the entire Freeholder Board, but especially Madam President Freeholder Timberlake, Freeholder Jones, and Freeholder Johnson. With sincere gratitude, the Lupe Fund Board and members who are here today and those who are not here, sincerely thank you all.
Thank you, Sarah, for your leadership and what you do in the community and also your friendship. You truly embody leadership. Mr. Jackson.
Clarence Jackson, Commander, Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 3 in Newark. I applaud the County Executive and the Board of Chosen Freeholders for their support of the initiative of Freeholder President Brittany Timberlake to encourage veterans entrepreneurship. I also look forward to working with the Freeholder Board, especially Freeholder Timberlake and Freeholder Richardson, and getting the word out to veterans about this ordinance. And I'd just like to say thank you to my good friend, we've worked for many years, on behalf of veterans, Freeholder Vice President Brendan Gill, and my friend in the labor movement, Freeholder Wayne Richardson. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson, and thank you for your service.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. My name is Zoe, Z-O-E Baldwin. I'm from the Utility and Transportation Contractors Association of New Jersey. And I came here today in full support of the program. One of my members found it, and I reached out to Ms. Collins to talk about how we have an internal proactive DBE program. We, just for the record, say DBE to cover all of the letters BE, to see how we would be able to plug in. And we were actually very interested in the joint venture structure of this. I do hope that we had a few very specific to utility and transportation contracting sector concerns. I was glad to hear Evans, I believe Mr. Evans, talk about there's some liability that's opened up with the False Claims Act. So we want to make sure that the program itself is kind of ensuring this, because there's very, very strict federal regulations about the self-performance of contracts. And so we need to make sure that there's some sort of immunity there, or looking at the liability issues. And then secondly, we would strongly suggest that you do an updated disparity report. These programs are progressive, they're attacked around the country, and a lot of people here in this room might be familiar with the Giad versus the state of New Jersey. There was 2 cases. One, this individual company sued, took down the entire state program. He got interested, thought he was on a roll, sued again, and lost. And the courts found in favor of him when he sued NJ Transit, specifically because they had the data to back the program. So the disparity study that is referenced in this ordinance is from 2005. I would strongly suggest updating your information. It's going to make a more solid program. And I think it's just something to keep in mind, especially if you're going to be growing this as it progresses. So as an organization that represents over 1,000 member firms active in, we'd like to call it horizontal transportation, construction. You think of contractors, think of vertical. We build roads, bridges, pipes, all of this. We look forward to working with the program, but certainly hope that some of the liability issues are just buttoned up.
Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable President Timberlake and members of the freeholders of Essex County, the administrative. My name is Prince Eze Arikoya, the founder of My Daughter, Your Daughter, an organization that caters to the needs of young women, organization that advocates against domestic violence and child trafficking and deprivation of education for our young women. It is a new dawn in Essex County today. In honor of this ordinance number 2017-0005, may I request, ladies and gentlemen, to please stand up and give a standing ovation in passage of this audience, please. Thank you, everybody. Because I strongly believe that in unity, we can accomplish a lot. The standing ovation and the appreciation of the passage of this ordinance clearly shows us that it's a new dawn in Essex County. Essex County has been an advocate, has been a champion in forwarding the progress of humanity. We, as an organization, My Daughter, Your Daughter, are so proud and elated to witness the passage of this ordinance under the presidency of a female. It's a great deal for me. It's been a while, 2005. That was the last time you ever heard about something close to this. But to witness this on this day, it's a great deal. We really appreciate you, Madam President. We appreciate you, the members of the Freeholder, and the executives of this county. In closing, we are urging, of course, most of the freeholders agreed that the passage of this is just a beginning, it's the first step. We will be integrated into the phase 2 and phase 3. The final phase will be the funding to different people that are entitled to what every one of you have fought for today. I am urging transparency. I am urging the same unity that you have used in passing this ordinance. I'm urging and expecting the same unity in disbursing the fair money to who it's supposed to be allotted to. Thank you, Honorable President. Thank you, Freeholder Association of the Freeholder of Essex County, and thank you, the general public, for supporting this. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Prince.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Baldwin. I'm a member of People's Organization for Progress. This is a great day, evening for the people of Essex County. I just have two questions about the funding and making sure. How can we, as the public, make sure that the funding is distributed equally amongst the groups, the women, minorities, and veterans? That's one question. And I guess this part here will probably be helpful, would be what kind of evaluation process will be utilized to make sure that this funding is distributed equally and effectively? Those are my two questions. An open policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Evans?
Oh, thank you, Madam President. With respect to the evaluation process, in this ordinance, what we've made sure is that we've empowered the Office of Small Business to make sure that there's an individual that's going to write and put forth certain procedures and policies that will ensure that everyone is evaluated fairly, and two, that every vendor is every vendor is every that ensure that every vendor is looked at to make sure that there's make sure that it's legit. We're going to evaluate their board composition. We're going to evaluate their past records, and we're going to make sure that that there's a process by which everyone would go through a vetting process. So that process is that's in the legislation, and then we're going to make sure that we work to empower the Office of Small Business to put that together.
Thank you, Evans.
Did you have more?
Good evening, Madam President. How are you
Hi,
this
Ms.
evening? And to all
Perry.
the freeholders, my name is Marjorie Perry, President of MZM Construction and Management. We're a multi-million-dollar firm right down the street from Essex County. I've done multiple teaching classes for Ms. Collins over here to my left. I just want to say thank you so much for the legislation that you put forth today. There are about 5 women like myself all over the country. In order to get your initiative done, we're willing to volunteer our time to at least coach the next 10 businesses that you come up with so that they have best practices when they do have the opportunity to bid these jobs. I coach on a regular basis as well as teachers class over at NJIT, and one of the things is that we can have all the initiatives in the world, but if they can't scale it, that will be some of the issues that we'll run into. So we're willing to offer our services, and we'll make this happen for you so that you have some real deliverables at the end, that this was a successful venture that has just been passed tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perry, and for what you do in the community and the offer. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the chosen freeholders. I don't know how great of a day it is to have this historic piece of legislation. I've been pushing this legislation on the internet, social media, and anybody who came on receiving that information is just a great day. You spoke about earlier about the implementation and enforcement. I am a emerging women-owned contractor, and I started Women Build 2 Education and Trades Foundation, and also I am a certified CDL truck driver, and you know how hard it is for women in construction as well as truck driving. And I'm actually a former affirmative action commissioner for the city of Newark. And anybody who know me, I've been actually advocating for diversifying contracts for women and minorities and veterans every time I go speak at the council meeting. So this legislation is historic, and thank you, the Office of Small Business and Affirmative Action, for pushing this legislation. And hopefully you can actually collaborate with the city of Newark to get some work done there, because there is still work that needs to be done. Because at these council meetings, I have presented on several and numerous occasions the disparity reports that go all the way back to 2007. And they just recently had one that came in through New Jersey Institute of Social Justice. And I just hope that, this thing spread like wildflower. And I want to thank you. You just don't know how overjoyed I am for your leadership. And they said hand up and not a handout. And I've been actually, on the front line trying to push myself up, lift myself up without any support from my union. I'm one of the founding members of Local 55. First female in that union that got pushed out of that union and started my own Women Build 2, because they said when one door closed, another one open, or you'll find a seat and kick the door open yourself. And then also with the trucking industry, I had to fight to get women represented in that industry, and now I'm also in the union with the truckers union. So it's a great day. But this thing here with this legislation, I just tip my hat to you and all who support her. Libby, I heard so much about you. Thank you so much, Freeholder Ms. Jones, and everybody who support this legislation. I thank you.
Thank you. And can you state your name and affiliation for me, for the record?
Manera El Bomani, citizen of Newark.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment?
William Tedesco, citizen Roseland, New Jersey, long life citizen of Essex County. About 13, 14 years ago, I stood at this microphone. Johnny Jones was the president, Pat Seaball was vice president, Andrea Davis was the clerk to the board. And my friend, or one colleague, Freeholder Carol Clark, I remember sitting in the back, talked about something about contracts. Well, I'm going to try to quote myself from then. I'm not going to say everything I did say then, but I'm going to try to do the best I can. Well, I got up here and I said, look at this board, like I did a couple of weeks ago. Look at this board. What a diversified board. And yet we can't get contracts for people. I think it's amazing of Essex County that can't get contracts for people of Essex County. All right? I says everybody should get a piece of the pie because it's very important. Everybody deserves the money because it's important. It helps whether it's crime or anything else. People working is great not only for Essex County but for the whole country, which is good. So I talked about this just before the disparity study. And I said, I don't need a disparity study. I see the problem already. And that was 14 years ago. I think it was 14 years ago, something in that area. But I do have to, let's not forget, I have to honestly, congratulate the county executive and Deborah Collins for the job they have done over the period of years. Yes, not everybody's happy, but I think they've done a tremendous job. And I think that the county executive deserves a lot of praise because under his leadership and Deborah's leadership, things have happened, things have changed. I've seen the change. I've been here for a long time. When Mr. Gill says, look at the crowd. Well, I was here when there was no crowds. I was the only person here.
You're here every meeting.
You're here every week. Basically. So I'm just trying to say, I wish there was crowds because they should be here. And whatever. And I've seen a lot of changes that I propose, and it's amazing what one individual can do up here, because I've seen changes from my talking and being here. But again, I fully support it. I know, don't worry, I'm watching the clock. I'm used to it. I fully support it, and I think it's a long time coming, but I do want to congratulate you for the effort and the greatness of Essex County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tedesco. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? All right, Freeholder Jones. What do you think? You got a motion to close public hearing on ordinance 2017-00005?
Yes,
I'd like to second it. Do we have the same mover and a second to approve this ordinance?
Yes.
Yes, we do? Okay. Madam Clerk, can you please call roll?
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Absolutely.
Freeholder Seabold.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you.
Great job, Madam President. Keep it up. Outstanding.
Right, Madam President.
Only 30 more to go. That's true. 30 more to go. Huh? We'll see.
There you go again.
Okay. Thank you, everyone who came tonight. Madam Clerk, do we have any other ordinances for resolution, second reading, and public hearing?
Madam President, we have ordinance number O-2017-0006, bond ordinance providing for the improvement of the Essex County College in and by the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $2,500,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,250,000 bonds of notes of the county and $1,250,000 bonds or notes of the county entitled to the benefits of Chapter 12 of the laws of New Jersey of 1971 for financing such appropriation.
Mr. Jackson.
No comment other than Mr. Acker's of last meeting.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
No comment.
Mr. Polavecchio?
No additional comments.
Okay. Freeholders? All right. Hearing none, I hereby declare the public hearing open for ordinance 0-2017-00006 open. If there's any members of the public wishing to comment for or against it, please come forward. Hearing none, do I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing on ordinance 2017-0006?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson, second by Freeholder Jones. Do I have the same mover and second to vote on this ordinance? Yes. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you please move to resolution number 1 and read?
Resolution 1, Department of Administration and Finance, lease agreement between the County of Essex County on behalf of the Essex County Prosecutor's Office and Arthur's Realty for the execution permitting the county to lease space at 155 Prospect Avenue, West Orange.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Good evening, Madam President. The prosecutor's office is looking to move into a different building, and our county counsel is here, as long as members of the prosecutors here, as well as members of the staff.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Madam President, Courtney Gassion, Essex County Counsel. As Mr. Jackson has indicated, the Essex County Prosecutor's Office is coming out of a 10-year lease where they currently exist at 7 Glenwood Avenue in East Orange. They are moving to a new location at 155 Prospect Avenue in West Orange. They're going to be occupying approximately 13,000 square feet at this location. It will also be a 10-year lease with a one option for a 5-year renewal. And this contract was negotiated between the county administration and Arthur's Realty, who is the landlord at that location, and several Essex County Prosecutor offices, administrative offices, will be moving to that location. The location provides ample parking as well as the necessary security that's required for the particular units that are moving to that location. In addition, Madam President, if I may, I'd also like to bring up our new acting Essex County Prosecutor, Bob Lorino. I'd like to introduce him to the board and let him say a few words.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. It's a pleasure to be before you again this evening, and an honor to have been asked to be the Essex County Acting Prosecutor for a second term. As many of you know who have been here for more than 6 years on this board, when Prosecutor Dow had left to become Attorney General, she asked me to be her successor. And I served for 13 months before our then next prosecutor, Acting Prosecutor Murray, came on board. She's now been elevated to the bench, and I've been named to be her successor. For the last over 12 years, under the administration of the three of us, we've had a remarkable period of stability in the Essex County Prosecutor's Office. Even though it's been 3 different individuals, both acting as acting prosecutor and actual prosecutor, we were all of really one mind as far as our administration of justice in this county. And so you can expect to see us continue to go forward in the same manner. As you may know, I am a career prosecutor. I've been with the office for over 35 years. I'm a county resident here, proudly, and also have been here within the city for more than 40 years, either going here for my education through Rutgers University for grad school, Seton Hall Law School, and then for my judicial clerkship here, and then as a prosecutor for better than 37 years. So it's an extreme honor for me to be back. Extreme pleasure. We've had a great opportunity in the past working with the Freeholder Board and working with the county administration, and we look forward to continue to work in cooperation going forward. I thank you all. And the matter before the board involves our office as far as a new office space for us. We are exiting a lease that has been expiring. This is a new office space to suit our needs for a number of our offices that are to be relocated. We're open to any questions that the board has.
Thank you. And I would say welcome, but you've been here for quite a while. But I'll say it anyway. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. McInerney?
With regard to this lease, this is for the administration or for the prosecutor, is it pretty much a policy? I think I've noticed that the prosecutor's office has always been at a location other than a continuous location at a county facility. So is that a statutory requirement or,
no, it isn't.
Or good policy?
It isn't, but Madam President, where there are certain units that we have due to security reasons, secrecy reasons, that we keep off-site or at different locations. We also have locations such as our Child Advocacy Center, where we have specialized attention. We have a facility over at the Lentz Building where we have our juvenile courts. So we do have different offices that are at different locations to meet specific needs.
So as a matter of sound policy, we don't incorporate your office into existing county facilities?
That's correct.
Okay, just wanted. The other question is, there's a term in the lease for a increase in the base rent of 33% in the years over the next 10 years. Is that the proportional space that you have of the entire building, roughly a third? Is that how they came to that?
So the increase that you're referring to is in the event that there is an increase in the tax base, as you noted, of the base year over the 10-year life of the lease. The 33% is the proportional share.
Okay.
The prosecutor's office will occupy just one floor of the 3 floors in the building.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
Yeah, I don't have a question about the particular resolution. I did just want to take the opportunity to congratulate Mr. Lorino, who I did have the pleasure of working with a number of years ago in that office, and he was a fantastic resource then for me, who was a very young attorney in my 20s at the time, and he's perfect person for this job. He has dedicated his career to that office, and really a fantastic person for that spot.
Thank you, Counsel.
Thank you. Freeholder Jones?
I want to congratulate Mr. Guarino for the position that he's holding, but I just wanted to ask a question. I guess I'm being subjective. Irvington is a part of Essex County, and I know that on Union Avenue there had been quite a bit of redevelopment of nice office space. Was Irvington ever considered as being a part, since you need different departments or whatever? I mean, West Orange, I have nothing against West Orange, but Irvington is struggling. Did any of you take that into consideration, that we are part of, that some of this business could go to Irvington? We pay county taxes. We have high unemployment. We have buildings that has been newly renovated, parking space, and it's accessible to 80 major thoroughfares within 5 minutes. So did you consider Irvington when you put out those proposals in terms of rental properties?
Madam Freeholder, this particular building was actually a former law firm that, at least the space was a former law firm. And so that actually came to our attention as a result of that. And the layout met our particular needs, and that's why we went with this particular office building.
But did you go to Irving and look at theirs? And
No,
see whether it would-
no,
that's
this
what I'm
was,
talking
no, this
about.
was just a building that came to our attention, having been a law firm that had exited this particular location.
We're good partners in Essex County.
We are.
And we should be considered when you're looking for different things that we vote. And that's all I'm going to say.
No, most definitely. I appreciate that.
I just want to put the message out there. We are part of Essex County, and we vote. And we should be in consideration when there are leases going on for 10 years, that Irvington should be a part of it. Not so much for the possible whoever or whatever when you're dealing with county money. Thank you.
Freeholders? All right, hearing none. Mr. Palavecchio, hearing none? Thank you so much. We're going to take action on this later this evening, okay? Madam Clerk, respectfully, I'm going to ask that you read into the record the entire agenda at a later time, and we just move through it based off of number. Mr. Jackson, if you can please explain Resolution 3.
Yes, Madam President.
As number 2 was withdrawn by the administration.
Correct. Yes, thank you. Number 3 is an extension of our third-party claims administrator contract with PMA, and Mr. Walker, our Director of Risk Management, is here to explain.
Good evening. A little taller than most folks here. Good evening. With us today is our third-party administrator firm. Oh, thank you.
You could just take the mic. Just take them. Everybody, just please. You could just pass the microphone.
PMA. They have a 20-year history with the county. Mr. Justin Wilkinson is here. He's going to speak briefly about some of the accomplishments they've had with us, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Thank you. Justin Wilkinson from PMA Management Corp. As Mr. Walker noted, we are the third-party claims administrator for the county's workers' compensation program. We began partnering with the County of Essex back in 1996. I actually started at PMA in 1997, and my job when I first came in was handling claims for Essex County's employees when they were injured. It's been a successful partnership. Part of what we do is helping the county control the cost of claims once they do occur, but also providing information to help the county stop new accidents from happening and help keep your employees safe. And I took a quick look at some of the numbers, just going back to look at some of the history of our partnership. Back when we came on board in 1996, the county had over 500 open and outstanding workers' compensation claims. Every one of those had reserves set aside for the finances to pay for the medical bills and pay for the time out of work. That number today is down to 182 open claims. So we've been able to drive down the number of open outstanding liabilities the county has. 1997, the year after we came on board, the county had 558 workers' compensation claims reported. So 558 employees at the county were hurt on the job back in 1997. In 2016, that number was down to 238, and a number of those claims that were reported were record-only, incident-only, where the person didn't actually suffer an injury, didn't need any treatment, but wanted to get a report on our system. Incurred costs every year, back in the 90s, early 2000s, was up to $3 million a year or more. That number is down, averaging about $1.5 million a year for costs for the workers' compensation program. We always look for other parties. If somebody causes an injury outside of the county to a county employee, we will look to recover funds back from them, from their insurance company. And subrogation and excess recoveries that we brought back to the county since 1997 now amount to over $5 million. Part of what we do is controlling the cost of the medical program. So we process all the medical bills for somebody who gets hurt on the job. Over the course of the last 5 years, we processed just over $12 million worth of medical bills. We've reduced those down by over $9 million, or 73% off of the bill charges. So the county is paying 27 cents on the dollar for medical treatment provided to your injured employees. And like I said, our goal is to help you continue to reduce the number of accidents that occur, provide a safe workplace for your employees, and hopefully slowly work ourselves out of a job here. But it's been a very successful partnership, and we're honored to the opportunity to continue moving forward with the county.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
I have a question. This is the second of a one-year contract, exercising the second option of a one-year contract.
I believe it's actually the third of a 3-year.
That's why I'm asking, because the second-year contract is listed as at 120,000. So
this is the third, so it's 116,000.
Right.
This is the
So
final extension.
This resolution should say the third, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm assuming the contract says it, you know.
Yes, the contract says 116,000.
116, so this is the third year, all right. That said, are we still using the doctors up at the hospital to do the work?
Ramron is the initial treatment provider for all employees that are hurt.
All right, and that's been working out great for us. But he's only one doctor now up there?
One doctor, and he has some additional staff up there.
So everything gets referred up there? Okay. You were talking before about, you came aboard about 1996. I know prior to that, I think it was just prior to that, or maybe just after that, we actually had a bond for workers' compensation for about $5 million at one point in time. So this has been a very successful program for the years that I've been here, and I've been here a long time. So that's all I have to say, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. McInerney. Mr. Palavecchio.
I don't have anything to add.
Okay, freeholders? All right, hearing none, we're going to list it and take action later this evening. Thank you. Mr. Jackson, if you can explain resolutions 4 and 5.
Certainly, Madam President. These are two contract awards from the Department of Health and Rehabilitation. Director Del Gaudio is here to explain for radiology services and other lab services, and he's going to give you more information on those two.
Okay.
Frank Delgadio, Director of the Essex County Hospital Center. Resolution 4 is for radiology services, and there were 2 bidders on this contract, and we had split the bid between 2 different vendors on this one. One was a new vendor to us out of Englewood, New Jersey, and the other vendor we've been using for several years. They bring in a mobile mammography truck for a van equipped with the equipment for our patients, so we don't need to send them off-site for the services, and that's what this resolution is for. Resolution 5 is laboratory services. This was a bid we sent out, and the incumbent provider, AccuLabs, was the successful bidder on this proposal.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
These are both lowest responsible bid, and I don't have any questions, Madam.
Thank you. Mr. Palavecchio?
Frank, on number 5, you said this was the incumbent bidder who happened to be successful this time around. Did you have other submissions from other providers?
On this, this was the sole bidder on this for number 5, yes.
All right, and you're satisfied with their services?
Yes, they do great work for us. I mean, every day they're there. You have stat orders that come through. I see the technician every morning coming into the hospital, someone coming in the evenings. Whenever an order is there, a special type of Holter monitor or something like that, they're really responsive. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders? Okay. Hearing none. Please list resolutions 4 and 5 for action later this evening. Please move to resolutions 24, 25, and 29. And please explain, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, Madam President. These are a couple of grants. One is with the Office of the Prosecutor to be administered for law and public safety. It's a sub-grant award, and the prosecutor's here to, Mr. Fenley's here to explain those. And also for items 25 and 29 is different, but for those 3, Mr. Fenley explained those 3.
Okay.
The other one is the sub-award, the gang. 1 grant.
Thank you, Madam Freeholder President. My name is Thomas Fenley. I'm a Chief Assistant Prosecutor. For the prosecutor, I oversee the narcotics, homicide, major crimes units. We're here tonight because this is basically what we refer to as the BURN grant. It's narcotics, anti-drug, anti-gang grant that's provided. Its money is essential to us because it allows us to add staff to our narcotics task force, as well as providing other funds that are used for evidence purchases, informant payments, and sometimes equipment purchases. Just to give you a snapshot of what our narcotics unit does for the county, it's known as the Essex County Narcotics and Gang Task Force. We work in all 22 municipalities in the county. We go where needed. We also partner with the Newark Police Department on a number of things. In the first 6 months of this year, we have seized approximately 2,100 grams of cocaine, 5,000 grams of, 5 kilograms of heroin, over $75,000 in cash has been seized, illegal proceeds seized that's been put back into law enforcement and used for law enforcement purposes. We've arrested approximately 239 individuals. I might note that a number of these individuals are also people that do not reside in Essex County but come to Essex County to purchase drugs, and that's something we're also mindful of in a number of our operations that we do, focus on attacking the source, or actually the demand side as opposed to the supply side, although we do both. A particular note, we're a relatively small unit, and we have removed over 19 firearms in the first 6 months, 19 firearms, illegal guns from the street. Given the amount of violence that occurs in this county and our homicides, we had our 51st homicide the other night. When we remove 19 guns, every gun we remove from the street is one less gun that can be used against a citizen, law enforcement, or anything. So that's significant, and we are a relatively small unit, so I think that's significant, the number of guns. But these funds are essential to enable us to do our mission, which is to combat gun and gang violence in this county.
Thank you so much for coming to give us that update. It's so important, and I thank you for your patience tonight, this evening. You know, you all should be commended for the work in which you are doing, and I just wanted the Freeholder Board to hear about what is unfortunately I'm going to refer to as accomplishments, because I wish it wasn't a necessary thing that you have to do. As far as, you know, the drugs and the guns even in existence on our streets, I wish it wasn't even there. But being that it is, we appreciate what you're doing and for coming to give us an update. So thank you. Mr. McInerney?
I have no questions.
Mr. Polovecchio?
No questions. This was 24 and 25?
And 20.
Yeah, no questions.
All right. Thank you so much. Freeholders? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Madam President. Item 29 is an agreement with LexisNexis and Mr. Orlando from the companies here, along with County Counsel Gassion.
Okay. Just state your name and
I
affiliation.
will.
Tell
Madam
us a bit about
President,
the
Board of
project.
Freeholders, Dave Orlando at LexisNexis. What we are proposing, I've been with Lexis for 20 years, and I thought I've done everything, but I've never done this before, so it's kind of cool. What we're proposing is the inmate-facing, offline, secure law library that is currently used by 30 Department of Corrections, including New Jersey, which was the first. Over 2,000 counties. The entire Federal Bureau of Prisons uses the same exact product. It's compliant. It's met with the DOC's requirements, and most of the other counties in New Jersey use it. It's also been compliant with them. And I guess lastly, your current vendors, about $17,000 per month. We're $2,700, so there's also a enormous savings, and we're by far the most used in the industry. I'll take any questions there are.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
I'm just a little more confused about what the library is. Can you explain that a little better?
Sure. Basically, the entire library is no more books. It's electronics, and it's a offline hard drive solution that plugs into computers. It's about the size of a deck of cards. USB 3 plugs in.
Okay.
It's updated quarterly, and there's no other charges other than the 2,700, which was proposed.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Thank you. Mr. Palavecchio.
Yeah, I think this is for county council. Is this, or you, sir, is this for all the offices throughout the county, or
This is for the prison.
just for the jail?
Correct.
Okay. Because, okay. Because the resolutions is various county agencies.
Ms. Gassion?
Courtney Gassion, Essex County Council. My understanding is this is not only for corrections, it's also for the Office of our Inspector General, who uses Lexis for research purposes, as well as County Council does use Lexis services solely for updates of some periodicals that we use, specifically New Jersey Administrative Code, and also the Essex County Prosecutor's Office would have access to LexisNexis as well under this contract.
Yeah, just for the board's edification, I could say the days of where a place like this would have a law library that might be 2 floors just to house the books that you needed to do competent research. It's now, like you said, a deck of cards, and obviously a lot less to maintain, both space-wise and economically. So it's not new, but it's the standard.
Thank you. Ms. Gassion, or?
Nope, any further
Okay.
questions we're happy to take.
Mr. Palavecchio? Is that
Nothing.
sufficient?
That's
Okay.
good for me.
Freeholders? All right. Hearing none, please list Resolution 29 for action later this evening. Madam Clerk, please move to resolution, well, actually, Mr. Jackson, please explain Resolution number 30 as we're reading into the record at a later time.
Mr. Soares is here to explain, but this is from the Department of Economic Development and Training. It's a series of sub-grants for the 2017 action plan, and Mr. Soares will give you more information.
Good evening. John Suarez, Finance Coordinator from the Division of Housing and Community Development. This is our 2017 action plan to be submitted to HUD for the CDBG, home, and HESG programs. It has to do with providing funds for housing rehabilitation, counseling, public improvements to public facilities, public services, public infrastructure improvements, tenant landlord counseling. The home program is for development of affordable housing, and HESG is for homeless prevention and rapid rehousing.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
These are all going to Essex County municipalities?
Yes,
Are these,
and service agencies.
I see them here, yeah, right. So who has they're going through this, one of the towns or the municipalities, and then they go through the town to a service agency. Is the service agency being monitored by the county or by the city?
By the county.
By the county. So the reporting requirements of the subrecipient are directly to the county.
Correct.
And the county has, I think we discussed this maybe at the last meeting, one of the last meetings, county has a monitoring program in place.
The county has monitors that go out and to the service agencies look at the files that they have on hand.
Right. Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McInerney. Mr. Palavecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Okay. Hearing none, please list Resolution 30 for action later this evening. Mr. Jackson, can you please explain Resolution 16 through 15?
6 through 15?
6 through 15. Thank you.
6 through 15. Yes, Madam President. As you know, we are looking to build a new exhibit at the zoo, and items 6 through 16 provide a menagerie of funding for that project, and Mr. Josh Yates is here from the Parks Department to attempt to explain it for you.
Joshua Yates, Essex County Parks. Through you, Madam President, numbers 6 through 15 are actually the funding mechanism for number 16. They all have to do with the new penguin exhibit. I'll go through them one by one. Number 6 is an allocation from the Open Space Trust Fund for $1 million for the penguin exhibit. Number 7 is a $400,000 grant from the Zoological Society for the penguin exhibit. Number 8 is an open space match to a Green Acres grant for the County of Essex multi-park grant. Number 9 is the budget insertion of both the Green Acres grant as well as the open space match. Number 10 is an open space match for the Parks Foundation's Green Acres grant. Number 11 is an agreement between the county and the Parks Foundation, essentially saying that the funds will be reimbursed to the county once the project is completed. Number 12 is the insertion of the open space match as well as the Green Acres grant. Number 13 is the open space match to the Zoological Society's Green Acres grant. 14 is the agreement between the Zoological and the county, similar to the Parks Foundation agreement. And then number 15 is the budget insertion of both the open space match and the Green Acres grant.
Thank you. And Mr. Jackson, 16?
16, Madam President, is the actual award of the contract to Terminal Construction. Mr. Donalo is here from Terminal, as well as obviously Josh, to explain his firm's qualifications and the project.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, too, and Dennis Cizalli is here as well from Public Works.
Good evening.
My name is Donald Danello. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of Terminal Construction. We're a family-owned business. We've been in business since 1945. It's our 71st year. We do a couple $100 million worth of work a year in the state of New Jersey and New York City. We've performed work at the zoo before. We did the parking garage, and we did the giraffe exhibit. And also right now we're building Trenton High School and Secaucus new technical high school, Rowan College. We're doing a project right now. There's a new student center, Gloucester Middle School down in Gloucester County, Don Bosco High School, and a building in New York City. So we're actively busy. We really make our living in the public works sector. We employ, hundreds of tradesmen a year. We comply with all the minority requirements that are part of the project. We've done a number of work at Montclair State University and universities throughout the state of New Jersey. We just finished the last 2 projects at Montclair, their new science center and their new business school, which is worth about $100 million. And we're very happy to be back at the zoo. We had 2 successful projects that were brought in ahead of schedule and within budget, and we look forward to doing this project in the same manner, ahead of schedule and on budget.
Thank you very much. Mr. McInerney?
So let me just go through the sources of funds first, because there's a lot here to try to understand where all the money's coming from. And so I had asked the administration on Monday. They did send me a complete breakdown. So just for simplicity purposes, and maybe just to get a little more accurate here, we've got $2,789,996 coming from General Capital Fund. So that's taxpayer dollars. Those are monies that we've authorized in our capital budget. So that's $2,789,996. The Open Space Trust Fund is giving $1,750,000. $1 million of that is an outright grant from the trust. The other $750,000 is coming out of open space, is to match the $750,000 of Green Acres money that were received. There's $300,000 coming from the South Mountain Recreational, am I saying that? A recreational fund? Okay. And then there's $400,000 from a zoological grant. So if you add up roughly the 2.8 from the general capital, 1.750 from open space, the 750 from Green Acres, the South Mountain Recreational Fund of 300, a zoological grant of 400, that gets you to roughly that gets you to $5,889,996. One question I have is the money's coming out for the South Mountain Recreation Fund. Does that not need a resolution? Is there any reason why we don't have it on the agenda? Or is that a dedicated fund to the county?
Yeah, the former beautification.
Is that where the dollar goes?
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. Through you, Madam President, yes, that's the additional or beautification fee that's administered with the admission for the zoo.
So that's already in the county trust funds, under dedicated funds?
Correct.
All right, so we do not need a resolution. We already have the authorization to
Correct.
spend that money for the particular purposes which the trust fund was actually dedicated for. So I believe we have all the resolutions that we need for the monies that have to be inserted in the budget, and I hope that made it a little clearer as to where the funds are coming from.
Thank you, Mr. McInerney. Mr. Paulovecchio?
Nothing to add to that.
Freeholders. Freeholder Luciano?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm assuming over $5 million. This is a project labor agreement, Mr. Jackson, or no?
Through you, Madam President, that's correct.
Okay. And terminal construction will be the general contractor that will make sure we hit the correct amount of number of unions?
Again, through you, Madam President, that's correct.
Okay. The only thing I wanted to ask through you, Madam President, I know we have our Parks Director and representative that leads our fabulous Turtleback Zoo in the audience. I don't know if they want to put on record any comments regarding this project.
I mean, listen, you've been here this whole time. You might as well come to the microphone.
Mike Kerr, Director of the Turtleback Zoo. This project is very important to us. The African penguin is in really dire times. Probably in the early 1900s, the population was about 200,000 birds, and currently it's about 50,000. So it's a program we're part of as far as breeding goes. Our current exhibit is very antiquated for the birds, and we really have a hard time producing young ones. And they're also very susceptible to bird malaria and avian influenza. Those are both transmitted by mosquitoes, and this new exhibit would actually bring the birds inside, so we no longer need to treat them with any kind of medications, which will really help with the breeding purpose of the birds.
So you're trying to set the atmosphere.
That's right. Make it perfect.
Freeholder Siebold?
Thank you. Much of what I was going to say you just said, because we had an Open Space Trust Fund meeting, and we discussed this fully, and we discussed how it's going to be funded, and we also discussed the fact that the penguin exhibit at Turtleback Zoo now is very, very antiquated.
Correct.
And this will be an excellent exhibit, and I know that the Bronx Zoo has a wonderful exhibit, and I'm looking forward to seeing this exhibit being even better when it's finished, and causing more and more people to come to Turtleback Zoo.
Great, thanks.
I'm looking forward to it.
Great.
If I may, Madam President, I just want to take the opportunity to commend Director Kerr for the work he's doing at the zoo. He's not been there that long, but he's made a tremendous difference in the operation and the effectiveness of the facility. And I just want to take the opportunity to commend him for a job really well done.
Thank you. Thank you, absolutely. Freeholders? Okay, hearing none, please list resolutions 6 through 16 for action later this evening, and thank you so much for coming out to tell us about these. Mr. Jackson, resolution number 17 through 23.
Yes, Madam President. Mr. Sedale is here from Department of Public Works to go through each one of these with you, but there are various projects, capital projects for the most part, and some awards for services for the Department of Public Works. And again, Mr. Sedale is here to go through each one with you.
Good evening. Dennis Sedale, Assistant County Engineer. Item number 17 is a contract award to Sparwood Contracting, the lowest responsible and responsive bidder for the rehabilitation of the Mill Street Bridge over the Second River in the Township of Belleville. It's a 180-day contract. The amount is $633,092.
Can you just come closer to the microphone?
Sure.
Thank you so much. They have to pick it up on the transcript.
And approximately $395,000 of that is from a grant, and $238,000 is from capital. And the contractor is here with us this evening, if you'd like to speak with him.
Please.
Brian Fagerston, Sparwood Contracting, President.
Okay, can you just tell us a bit about the contract?
The contract involves the removal of the deck on Mill Street Bridge and replacement of sidewalks, stringers, new water main, paving at the approaches.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
I have no questions.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No question.
Freeholders? Mr. Jackson?
Item 18, Dennis?
Thank you so much.
Dennis Sedali, Assistant County Engineer. Item 18 is a professional services agreement with Pannoni Associates for construction engineering and inspection services for Chancellor Avenue, 8 traffic signals and roadway improvements in the city of Newark. It is a $573,335.43 contract, and it is totally grant funded from the state. And I have a representative from Pannoni Associates here if you'd like to speak with them.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman. Todd Hay, Regional Vice President in charge of our Newark, New Jersey office.
Hi, Mr. Hay.
Yes, good evening. Pannoni is happy to take on this contract. We have administered this type of contract over the last 4 years for the county, and with 8 intersections in Newark to be rehabilitated, we'll have inspectors on the job. We are partnering up with our teammate, Mont McDonald.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
Yeah, just one question. You said it was totally grant, or Mr. Sedali said total grant funding. It's just state funding? Is it DOT funding?
It's DOT funding.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Freeholders? All right, hearing no questions. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, all of the vendors, for your patience tonight. And we will list it for action later this evening. Mr. Jackson?
Mr. Sedali.
Dennis Sedali, Assistant County Engineer. Item number 19 is a contract award to Oxford Electric Contractors, the lowest responsible bidder for general electrical improvements at various county buildings. It's a 1-year agreement. It's $572,899.50. This is an on-call contract to provide electrical improvements to various county facilities. Payment will be made at an hourly rate based on the type of technician required, whether it's an electrician, journeyman, electrician, foreman, regular time or overtime, and we pay for the materials used. And I have a representative from Oxford Electric Contractors here, if you would like to hear from them.
Okay, please come forward and state your name and affiliation.
Good evening, Madam President. My name is Artem Kurman, and I'm a partner in Oxford Electrical Contractors. We're a smaller company. We have about 18 people, out of which one is actually a veteran. And we basically do a lot of public works. We've had this contract in the past for about 6 years. And we hold NJT College contract, we hold Union County contract, and we hold various factories all over New Jersey.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Freeholder Richardson?
Where's your business located, and do you employ any Essex County residents?
We do not have any Essex County residents, and our business is Randolph, New Jersey. That's where our main office is.
Thank you.
All right. Freeholders? Hearing none, thank you so much again for your time and patience. Please list it for action later this evening. Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Mr. Sedali.
Thank you. Dennis Sedali, Assistant County Engineer. Item 20 and 21 are related. They are a contract award to Foley Equipment, the sole responsive and responsible quote, to provide parts and labors for specialty equipment. It's a 2-year agreement. The Foley contract is for Caterpillar equipment, and it's a amount not to exceed $39,999. Item number 21 is the same type of contract with Hoffman Equipment, and it is for, I believe, the case equipment. We have 2 pieces of that equipment, and the amount is the same, $39,990.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Okay, please list resolutions 2021 for action later this evening. Mr. Jackson.
Sure.
I just like seeing you, you know.
Assistant County Engineer. Item 23 is a contract award to Air Systems Maintenance, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for miscellaneous mechanical, electrical, and plumbing and HVAC services to various Essex County facilities. It's a one-year agreement, and it's not to exceed $505,000 and $10.50. This is an on-call contract to provide these services to various Essex County facilities. Payment will be made on an hourly rate based on the type of technician required, whether it's an HVAC tech, a sheet metal worker, pipe fitter, plumber, or welder, plus the materials used. And I have a representative from Air Systems here if you wish to hear from them.
Okay, please come forward, state your name and affiliation, and tell us a bit about the contract.
Yes, good evening, Madam President and the Board. My name is Peter Zimmerman. I'm the President of Air Systems Maintenance. We've been in business. I founded the company 53 years ago. We've done some work for you in the past. We've, in fact, have the maintenance contract now. We are members of the pipe fitters and refrigeration and service HVAC servicemen, local 475 for the area of Newark, and also a related company that I own, Saxon Sheet Metal, which is a member of local 22 sheet metal workers. We've had these contracts. We've got contracts throughout New Jersey. We do mostly work in New Jersey, North Jersey, and we've done work for you before. The Gibraltar project is, we've done service work in that building. It has about 14 HVAC units, 1 or 2 per floor, and they are 30 years old, and the county is trying to replace these on a floor-by-floor basis now. We've done 1 floor, and this is this bid on the second floor, which has 2, on the 9th floor, which has 2 units, and we were successful bidders on that project. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the next item. So the maintenance project is something that we've had in the past with you, and we service buildings, various buildings in Essex County. This is one of them, and 50 South Clinton, Leroy Smith, Gibraltar, and other buildings that come up need repair service for heating or air conditioning.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
I have no questions.
Mr. Polavecchio?
Just a comment. I'm glad the gentleman mentioned, I know he was on a different, on his other contract for the evening, but about the unit replacement, because I was going to ask him, I feel like we've been down this road before with replacement at the Gibraltar building, but I didn't know that there were dozens of units there, so this is an ongoing process. Thank you.
Okay. Freeholders. Hearing none, please list it. Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Madam President, we'll go back to item 22.
Item 22, I apologize, I skipped over item 22. Item 22 is a contract award to Air Systems again. It's for air conditioning unit replacements and system upgrade at the 9th floor of the Gibraltar building in the city of Newark. It's a 240-day contract. It's amount not to exceed $568,800. And this project represents the second phase of an air conditioning unit replacement and system upgrade at the Gibraltar building on Washington Avenue in Newark. The first phase was the 11th floor, and that has been completed. And again, I have a representative from Air Systems, if you wish to speak.
Oh, yes, this is the project I was referring to, has approximately 14 units. This is the second and third unit to be replaced on the 9th floor. And we
Okay.
did the 11th floor also.
All right. Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
I have no questions, Madam President.
Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Okay, please list it for action later this evening. Thank you very much, again, for your patience. Please move to resolutions 26, 27, and 28. Mr. Jackson?
Madam President, on item 26, this is a budget insertion from the Department of Children and Families from the state of New Jersey. This funding, $68,859, provides funding for the Human Services Advisory Council, which advises the county executive and the Freeholder Board on how to provide human services more efficiently and more effectively to the county. Again, it's $68,859 and requires a match of $95.74 from the county. Item 27 is another budget insertion for a Clean Communities grant, which we have received over the years. It provides for $71,861 for funding to clean up along litter, debris, and trash along county roads. And this is the same funding that we had last year.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
No questions, Madam President.
Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? All right, hearing none, please list resolutions 27, 28, and
Did we do
26.
I think
Did we-
we didn't do 28 yet, did we?
We have to do 28.
Okay, 28.
Yes, Madam President. Mr. Goodson is here to address this program, but it's through HUD, and it provides continuum of care program. And again, Mr. Goodson will elaborate.
Marvin, you're getting an award for your patience tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
Good afternoon, Chairman.
Good
Madam
afternoon.
Chairman, Freeholder Board, and public. How you doing? I'm from the County Community Action, and I'm here to represent the Almost Home program. The Almost Home program is for young people between the ages of 18 to 24 years old, and we provide affordable houses for...
Marvin, can you grab the mic and speak into it? And if you could just state your name and affiliation again for the record, the transcripts didn't pick it up.
Okay. My name is Marvin Goodson. I'm from Community Action, and I'm here to represent the Almost Home program. The Almost Home program provides affordable housing for young people between the ages of 18 to 24 years old, and they have to have some kind of disability. Type of disabilities we're talking about is chronological alcoholic and drug abuse, serious mental illness, and disabling conditions. Our program received funding from HUD, and it's 20 vouchers, and without these services, we cannot provide service. I mean, these young people are often left out in the planning for, and what I say, city planning. They're often left out. They cannot, they do not represent themselves well, and we are here to make sure that they get fully represented. And these, to let you know, these services are vital to these individuals. When we go and visit them and do my inspection, they be all kinds of enthusiastic. They be telling me all kind of enthusiastic feelings about the way they feel about the way we provide the funding for them. And I would like for the board to continue supporting this program.
Thank you, Mr. Goodson.
Okay.
Mr. McInerney?
I don't have any questions, Madam President.
Medina. You said you have no questions?
No questions.
I thought you said I have a question. Okay.
No, I'm sorry, Madam.
That's all right. Mr. Polavecchio.
No question.
Freeholders. Okay, hearing none, please list it for action later this evening.
I can handle
Resolutions 31 through 34, which will again be read into the record at a later time. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Okay. Madam Clerk, please read resolution number 33.
Resolution 33, to support Nabisco workers and the protection of American jobs, sponsored by Freeholder Richardson and Timberlake.
Freeholder Richardson?
Yes. So this resolution is in support of our colleagues over there in Bergen County, and they saw it fit to support these workers. Nabisco is moving jobs to low-wage countries, and we want to save American jobs. They have a plant over there in Bergen County, and one of the things that we want to urge people to do is to not buy any Nabisco products that are made out of the country, because the more we support those products that they're making in other countries and paying these low-wage workers, they'll move the jobs that they have in the United States, the ones that are left, out of the country. So we don't want that to happen. So we just want to, I hope I can get your support in this resolution so that we can save the jobs of these American workers here by not supporting Nabisco and they're taking the jobs out of the country. That's pretty much what the resolution is about.
Thank you. Freeholder Siebold?
May I be included in the resolution?
Sure. Freeholders? Freeholder Johnson? Sure. Freeholder Jones? Would you like it by acclamation?
Acclamation.
Okay. And Freeholder Richardson, thank you for bringing this to our attention. When I saw it, I immediately was like, okay, I need to get on this because it's important. A little fun fact, random, that I never thought I would ever have to say here, but my grandmother on my maternal side, Dorothy G. Parr, she retired from Nabisco, and she supported her household as a single mother with 4 children, all with Nabisco, and all of her friends, the Golden Girls, as I like to call them, they all also worked at Nabisco and retired handsomely from there. And with the jobs going overseas, as you know, one of the factories was mainly based in Philadelphia, and that's the one in which they worked at. And with the jobs going overseas, they noticed generations, to follow them, not having the same opportunity that they were afforded, which really, truly was tremendous, and it had a tremendous impact on my life and family. So this is very important, and thank you for bringing this here tonight, Freeholder Richardson. All right.
Madam President, could I be added, please?
Yeah, we're going to do acclamation.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to list resolutions 31 through 34. We are now going to move to a vote. Is there any resolution that needs to be excluded from a collective vote? Okay, hearing none. Resolutions, is there a mover and a second to take resolution?
Except for 2.
Except for resolution number 2. Is there a mover and a second to take resolutions 1 through 34? Moved by Freeholder Siebold.
Second.
Is there, okay, second by Freeholder Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Are there any report of board committees? Is there any legislative reports? Any written communication? Any unfinished business? Any new business to discuss? Moving to public comment session, is there any member of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all? Okay, Mr. Cowboy.
Oh, it's already stamped. Okay.
Yes,
All right, Cowboy, 48 District Leader, South Ward. Good evening again to the President and all the freeholders. I have come up with a situation to figure out the problems that what is going on with me and getting into the 48 district as a district leader. I was asked by the people to kind of give them a helping hand, which I was trying to do. And I see that what the problem is that we have the system, and we have the money, and we have the timing, but we don't have the part of the problem is the solution, which is the people and results. So this is what I have wondered why I'm coming up with the same thing every week and trying to get things done. And when I do get a few of these things done, which I had been disturbed with, they came up with the bed bug situation over there. It was working out, seemed like it was working out for a minute. And then they come up to the same people that was getting eat up by the bed bugs and put in this, started this whole thing, which is a friend of mine, which she became vice president of the council of the housing over there in the situation, and then turned around is 2 or 3 months later that after I talked about it, she was eaten up again by bed bugs after they were supposed to come and get rid of them. But I said the only thing that I can understand of what the problem is that they doing a few housing projects and skipping over a lot of the projects if they don't do the whole complete job, it doesn't solve any of the problems. And I would like to just say that I would like to follow up on some of the things that I have been mentioning just to see if we can get some kind of results. And I appreciate any feedback that I can get. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cowboy. Bed bugs are a very serious issue. We will look into it. Please state your name and affiliation for the record.
Yes, Mr. President, my name is Che Coulter, and before I spoke as a voter, this time I just speak as a district leader in my neighborhood, representing the 1,095 residents in District 16 of the South Ward. From the perspective of out at large, I have some family members that live in Newark's West Ward, closer to the Seton Hall area, down South Orange Avenue in the Bradley Courts public housing complex. We're just asking, I'm personally, as a local official in Newark, am asking this board to consider its back-to-school public safety plan and some enhanced presence of the sheriffs in the county road areas where we have Newark children, residents, commuters, parents picking their children up and leaving, and we want those areas to be as safe as possible. So if it doesn't have to be in writing, Mr. President, but just something to be considered and for us to take some strong posture as we enter the back-to-school season after Labor Day.
Thank you. That is my district too. I'm not going to eat your time away with my statement here, but I'm going to answer you right now. Mr. Jackson, do you think that we can ask a formal request of the Sheriff's Department to increase police presence around South Orange Avenue is where you're talking about, and across the street from the park, and Freeholder Johnson as well, that's also his area.
Madam President, through you, we've already have an agreement going with Armando Fontour.
Great.
We started it in about April toward the end of the year because we know that at the end of the year, there's usually a lot of fights and things like that that come up. They usually have a county car parked across the street from Speedway School to help the kids, even to help the kids cross the street. We have a Newark police car there, and we have a county sheriff's vehicle there.
And I see that my time is running short. The only reason I wanted to bring that up is we need to reshape the conversation and how we're doing that. Maybe it's been done a certain way for the last 15 years, but us as parents of children in the school board, we're willing, in the school district, we're willing to assist you all in this civic body in its duty to try new ways and look for new ways to keep it safe. 57 seconds. Although I would like to commend this board on the passing of the affirmative action ordinance, I must say that at the same time, there's a paralysis in the analysis. And by that I mean, I didn't want to bring it up the first time I came, but I noticed a constituent brought it up that was representing the construction contractors. We have to humbly request a new disparity study so that this board can govern accurately as they bring on the actual implementation of the ordinance. In the city of Newark, New Jersey alone, there are going to be a lot of development, particularly near our airport. We want the women, WBEs, MBEs, and DBEs to have a fair shake on it, but we can't do that on a rusty report. So anything I can do, Ms. President, speaking through you, to help this board, I can gather all the parents and all the folks who are looking to build capacity for the next generation to help a new way forward and to grow Essex.
Thank you so much. And I always love when you come before the board and speak out about things, truly, and I appreciate your passion for the community. Just regarding the whole disparity report and what the comment that even the other member of the public stated, and regarding governing accurately, that disparity report, yes, it was old, but watch this. The county executive had implemented the Office of Small Business and Affirmative Action, who each year tracked the numbers of contract spend, you see? So it's not incomplete at all, because truth be told, you can take a look at that data right there and use that data right there that was tracked all through the years, and we did do that, and we proved disparity using that data. I'm not opposed to doing a new disparity study at all, but what I am saying is that the ordinance is far from incomplete. I probably should have said that on the record whenever she made her comments as well, but no, those numbers that were accurately added up and reported on are proof of disparity even without a new disparity study being done.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Manir El Boumani, a citizen of Newark. I got two questions I wanted to ask in regards to the historic piece of legislation. Who's the point person that would be doing the implementation and enforcement, and also would this piece of legislation be attached from this point on to the competitive bidding process from this point on? Because we got a lot of contracts that went through today, so I just want to ask if this is going to be linked to the competitive bidding process from this day forward.
So if you go to, can you hand me that back? As a matter of fact, I don't even need it. No, I don't. I need that back. All right. And this is for the record. If you go to, it should be the last page of that ordinance, okay? Actually, it's the second to last page. Okay, last paragraph, it talks about, be it ordained that the county purchasing agent must forego, certain things, right? Okay. And then it mentions in that entire be it foreordained section, and then even spilling over to the last page, it talks about enforcement, okay, and compliance, and how this is going to be enforced. Now, what it also says in the last paragraph, on the last page, that this ordinance is to take effect after 90 days after final adoption, you see? Because once it's adopted, then it's the administration is going to have to work with the, work with the input of the Freeholder Board, I'm sure, is what was the county executive's commitment to me, but come up with policies and procedures and how to implement it. We have embedded enforcement in here, okay? But at this point in time, I'm unable to answer exactly who, but I can tell you that it has to be done.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Any other members of the public wishing to comment? Okay. Hearing none, moving to freeholder comment session. Hearing none, motion to adjourn.
Move.